The opening scene unfolds with Johnny, a charismatic and successful businessman, embarking on a morning run. Beneath his sophisticated facade lies a womanizer who assumes various personas to woo women, typically younger than himself. Later at the country club, Fabio spills the beans about Johnny juggling 3 fake identities in a week to meet women. Johnny, unfazed, quips about his wife potentially desiring him too. Moving forward, Johnny joins his friend and doctor, Dario, for lunch. Dario questions the toll of maintaining fake identities to pursue women, urging Johnny to consider settling down with a mature partner, given his approaching 50s. A phone call interrupts, with Gianni hinting it's about Johnny's mom. Dario anticipates reconciliation, only for Johnny to starkly reveal his mother's demise. Post-lunch, Johnny rushes to the graveyard, mistakenly getting entangled in a Filipino procession, confusing it for his mom's. A swift, insincere apology follows before he locates the correct funeral spot. Gianni, Johnny's twin, delivers a poignant farewell, while Johnny skips his own speech, revealing underlying racist tendencies. The funeral concludes, and Johnny's brother hands him the keys to their mom's house. Amidst family photos, Johnny sits emotionally in her wheelchair, tunes into her old radio, and gets a surprise visit from Alizia, a young neighbor. Alizia, having assisted handicapped individuals, offers to volunteer. Spotting the wheelchair, Johnny, the cunning player, instantly feigns disability. The following workday exposes Johnny's cutthroat business persona as he berates his team. He emphasizes that high speed, his sneaker company, sells a lifestyle, not mere shoes. In turn, Julia suggests marketing to disabled customers with Paralympic athletes, but Johnny dismisses the idea, claiming his clientele is Instagram influencers, not lifelong shoe users with disabilities. In a dramatic move, he fires Julia on the spot to set an example. With the tension of the meeting lingering, Johnny collects a bag of old clothes from his assistant Luciana. He hastily returns to his late mother's home, maintaining the facade of his fake handicap. The plot thickens as Johnny navigates a web of deception, uncovering layers of his intriguing and complex character. Johnny slyly persuades Alizia to join him for coffee in his kitchen, using a bit of guilt. While sipping coffee, Johnny discovers that Alizia prefers a carefree, single lifestyle over serious relationships. Slowly, it dawns on him that she's into lively, fit, and well-off guys, and his middle-class handicapped charade seems to flop. Just as Alizia prepares to leave, Johnny sees his opportunity slipping away. He spills the beans, revealing himself as the owner of High Speed, boasting 148 stores across Europe and a lavish villa. Alizia, caught off guard, changes her tune and invites him to her country house for lunch next Sunday. On Sunday, Johnny arrives at the address but decides to park far away. Seeing ominous clouds, he dons a raincoat and struggles to wheel himself to the house. Inside, he meets Alizia's family, her oxygen-supporting grandmother, her brother, and her parents. Then, Alizia's sister Chiara arrives in a car. Initially captivated by her beauty, Johnny realizes she also uses a wheelchair. It hits him that Alizia set him up with her disabled sister, not herself. After lunch, Johnny and Chiara chat outside. She shares her love for sports and being a professional violin player. Uninterested, but trying to be polite, Johnny nods without contributing much. When Gianni returns to Rome, he regales his friends with tales of Chiara. His doctor friend Dario inquires about her personality, while others ask about her attractiveness. Gianni acknowledges her beauty but confesses he's not into disabled girls. As the conversation continues, Fabio challenges him to pursue her, and Gianni, with a smug grin, accepts the challenge. Meanwhile, Alizia visits Johnny's mother's home to return his raincoat, but encounters his brother, unaware of Gianni's deception. She shares stories of Johnny's charity work in Botswana and expresses sympathy for his disability. Johnny's brother, surprised but playing along, later confronts him about the lie, urging him not to stoop so low. Johnny deflects, making light of his brother's baldness. The comedic saga of Johnny's escapades takes unexpected turns. The day after, as Johnny's gearing up for work, he drops Chiara a voicemail, asking her out for a Saturday rendezvous. Surprisingly, Chiara makes a morning appearance at his office. With no wheelchair in sight, Johnny awkwardly perches on his desk. Chiara, unable to make it on Saturday, invites him to her disabled tennis tournament later that day. Trying to impress, Johnny spins a tall tale about his company's stellar support for disabled athletes. That afternoon, Johnny, wheeling around, watches Chiara in a heated tennis match, genuinely wowed. Post-match, she invites him to lunch with her disabled pals, but things don't pan out as he hoped. Bombarded with questions about his disability, he's overwhelmed and even has a nightmare that night. In the next scene, Johnny jets off to Turin where Chiara is showcasing her orchestra talents. He snags an electric wheelchair, grabbing a balcony seat in the theater. For the first time, classical music strikes a chord with him. After the concert, he surprises Chiara, who quizzes him on why he's in Turin. He fibs about accidentally dropping by while being nearby for work. They head to a fancy restaurant for dinner. Gianni attempts to spill the beans about his disability lie but diverts at the last second, confessing he lied about being nearby and came solely to pursue her. However, his electric wheelchair antics are a clumsy spectacle, bumping into the table throughout the conversation. Post-dinner, Chiara takes him to her hotel, where they share a kiss, but she puts the brakes on things, leaving Gianni disappointed. Back from Turin, Johnny asks Dario about paraplegics and erections, anticipating the awkward chat. Dario explains they do, but for Chiara, pleasure depends on her spinal injury's location. He suggests Gianni forget about the bed, reminding him he's a 49-year-old, not a teenager. However, his friend playfully brushes it off. In the next scene, Johnny invites Chiara to dinner the next day before cruising to pick up the girl he met on the morning run. Meanwhile, Chiara has a lively chat with her sister, sharing a cigarette. She spills how happy she is that Gianni sees her as a complete woman instead of just pitying her. The escapades of Johnny continue, adding layers of humor to his pursuit of love and understanding. The following day, Chiara explores Johnny's expansive house, effortlessly navigating the furniture while Gianni, in his wheelchair, continuously collides with obstacles. During dinner, she inquires about the cause of his paralyzed feet. Johnny weaves a fabricated tale, claiming a similar accident to Christopher Reeve's, the Superman actor. Chiara corrects him, noting Reeve's paralysis was from the neck down. In an attempt to save face, Gianni amusingly asserts he fell off a pony. Cautiously, Chiara shares her own tragic car accident, where her passenger and violin emerged unharmed, but she lost the use of her legs. Seeking to lift the mood, Gianni reveals his surprise, a rubber noodle. They place it around their chests, Gianni clicks a button, and the dining room floods, buoying them weightlessly. In a moment of passion, they share a kiss and make love. However, when the water recedes, Chiara discloses her lack of feeling below her legs. Emotionally shaken but bewildered, Gianni confesses he too only felt it in his forehead. As she sleeps, he sneaks a selfie of them to boast to his friends. The next day, Gianni flaunts the photo, winning a bet with Fabio, but concealing Chiara's inability to feel. Later that night, Fabio's wife visits Gianni's house in her nightdress and accidentally breaks a wine glass. Jokingly comparing herself to a handicapped person, she offends Gianni. Without revealing the reason, he instructs her to get dressed and leave. Days pass without Gianni and Chiara communicating, but a shift occurs in his perspective. He asks Luciana to recall the intern who suggested marketing to paraplegic athletes. During his morning run the next day, he calls Chiara, proposing a meeting and hinting at an important confession. The plot thickens as Gianni faces the consequences of his actions and contemplates a transformative revelation. After that, he heads to her place. Chiara brings him to her room, asking him to wait as she finishes her violin practice. Seeing photos of her with both legs for the first time since they met, Gianni, burdened by the lie, stands to confess but sits before she turns around. Noticing Gianni less jittery, Chiara says he's improving with his wheelchair. They share a kiss, and she brings up his confession, but he, lacking courage, quickly changes the topic. They then share nervous laughter as she recalls her ex dumping her post-accident. With a heavy heart, Chiara confesses lies hurt more than injuries. Scared, Gianni decides to keep his secret for now. Chiara asks him to meet her friends, so he forces Dario and Luciana to join dinner. On the way, Dario suggests love, urging Gianni to confess or face consequences. He threatens that if Gianni doesn't confess, either he or Luciana will. During dinner, Dario pressures Gianni to reveal the truth. Hesitant, Gianni spills soup on Dario, takes him to the bathroom. In the heart of the bathroom, Dario leans in, telling Gianni that the time has come for a confession because their tangled web of lies has spiraled out of control. Just as the weight of the truth hangs in the air, their conversation is abruptly halted by the unexpected entrance of Gianni, a swift restaurant employee. With a touch of urgency, Gianni dashes into the restroom, not for any ordinary reason, but to conceal the shocking secret that he can effortlessly stroll through the night. His ingenious disguise involves feigning paralysis, leaving the truth concealed once more in this unfolding tale of deception. Johnny's brother visits Alizia with flowers, exposing Gianni's lies. Angry, she confronts Gianni, slapping him. Giving him a 2-day ultimatum, she demands the complete truth. Later, our hero visits his womanizing estranged father. In a heartfelt conversation, his father expresses regrets about being a bad husband and urges Gianni not to repeat mistakes. Gianni fears losing her if the truth is exposed, clearly falling in love with her. The comedic chaos continues in Gianni's quest for love and honesty. Their talk gets interrupted by news about a trip to Lourdes, a famous Catholic spot in France with supposedly magical water. This sparks a wild plan. Gianni will take Chiara to Lourdes, fake a healing miracle with the water, and try to win her over. Alizia, sensing trouble, hints to her sister that Gianni might not be the best match. But their chat gets cut off by a call from Gianni, inviting Alizia to join them in Lourdes. Alizia, bewildered, questions why they're heading to Lourdes, and Chiara suggests Gianni's hoping for a miracle. Fed up with hiding, Chiara shockingly spills the truth. She knows he can walk. As a wheelchair user, she saw through his act from the start. Gianni confesses he kept up the lie because feeling loved, even through deceit, was too good to give up. The group reaches the Notre Dame sanctuary in Lourdes, greeted by Father Walter, an Italian. Father Walter asks Gianni to meet him alone inside the cathedral. In their meeting, Father Walter bluntly tells Gianni he knows he's not disabled, warning against standing up and giving false hope. Gianni leaves the cathedral, continuing the fake act. Meanwhile, oblivious Chiara wanders into the road, and Gianni, seeing danger, stands up to pull her back. She's caught in a whirlwind, faking amazement at his newfound walking miracle. Cue the drama as she hops on a bus, leaving a trail of tears behind. Back in Rome, Johnny's life takes a nosedive. Fabio confronts him about the affair, and if that's not enough, Luciana drops the resignation bomb. Seeking refuge, Johnny confesses love at his mother's grave and shakes things up by rehiring Julia to launch an ad campaign, the one she pitched featuring disabled athletes. Now, buckle up for the Chiara saga. Johnny storms her parents' house, only to face the ultimate judge, her grandmother. He spills his heart out, but the old lady ain't buying it. Gianni, in a midlife crisis confession, breaks a vase while professing love for Chiara. Twist alert. The old lady spills the beans that Chiara's on a bus to the Menotti Theater. She tosses him the root like a lifeline, but not without a stern warning against hurting Chiara again. Cue the race against time. Johnny catches up to the bus, but Chiara, resilient and proud, brushes off pity like yesterday's news. Chiara boldly declares that she's not in the market for pity. Without missing a beat, she brushes off his pleas and signals the bus to roll on. Gianni, back in Rome, runs off guilt, collapses, and guess who rolls in on a wheelchair? Chiara. She cheekily claims she's just jogging by the running trails in Rome, wipes the slate clean, and embraces Gianni, giving him a lap ride. Now, for the grand finale. Gianni, his brother, now with a side of romance, and Chiara's family throw a birthday bash. The credits roll as Gianni, carrying Chiara, dances into a future where the unexpected becomes their unique story.